Welcome back to the ETF Inspector. It's Friday, July 11th, and this will be the video covering trades and holdings for ULTY YieldMax's Ultra Option Income Strategy Fund and LFGY YieldMax's Crypto Industry and Tech Portfolio Option Income Fund. As always, just a reminder, I'm on X as well if you want a heads up when videos are coming out and different things related to the funds that I cover at ETF_Inspector1. All right, this video is going to be quick as possible, much different than our normal. As you can see, it's 10:40 at night, and I'm just now starting to make it. I still have another video to make, have to get everything uploaded. It was my sister-in-law's 30th birthday party, so we were out of town for like a dinner date type thing and got home real late before I could even start processing any information. So this is what we're left with. This is not standard. If this is your first video, I normally dig a lot deeper, but I'm just trying to get the information out so I can go to bed because I have to get up at 5:30 to get my kids to a swim meet tournament in the morning. So, all right, ULTY down slightly, not bad though. We're still in the trading range we've been used to for the last couple of months now, and it went up a little after hours as well. Decent amount of red. I think more red than green, but not that much more. But the reds that we had were a lot deeper drops than the greens that helped. So we lost value in both funds. Similar over here on, I passed it. LFGY, where is it? They had a bit of a bigger drop, almost 1%, but still, we're still trading above 40. So if we can keep on getting 40 to 50 cents a week and trade above 40, we're still happy. Okay, but decent mixture. You saw the thumbnail, more red than green again. So we will go over to YieldMax's website. This is part of the issue with why it's so late. I can't get any of the prep work done early because to download the intraday trades, they don't become available until on Fridays. It's usually even later, sometimes 6:30. Okay, but we download that, come up with this file, all the trades for all the funds, and then we just have to put them in and our spreadsheets and make them look a whole lot prettier so you like to see them. I took a lot of feedback, started freezing some panes, started moving some things over, so hopefully you like it. But I'm going to move through a whole lot quicker because I need to get to bed. So basically Friday is everything that hasn't been closed out yet for this week has to get closed out. We're closing things out, rolling the next week. So we're not going to I actually didn't even update any of our colors in or out of the money because we don't care about where options are sitting on a Friday going into the weekend. We will cover all that updated on Sunday as we do our week look ahead. So just letting you know how trades went today. AAOI, this was our first week with them, I believe. Closed out this week's, rolled the next week's, profited $454,000. So good first trading week on those guys. AppLovin, same thing. Closed out this week, rolled the next week, $746,000 profit. So obviously a down Friday is going to help you win your trades. ASTS, closing this week's, rolling the next week, $400,000 profit. Hood, basically, realistically, it wasn't so much of a loss, $79,000. If you look at, closed out for $160, open next week's for $179, so it would have been a profit if it weren't for the fact that we buy protective puts. So we actually made more than we paid on the covered call portion of it. But then we had to spend some money buying the protective puts to protect our shares in case they drop. So we have a debit there of $79,000. IonQ, nice win for the week. Here's the only thing I don't like, so you guys have to let me know. Now that I'm locking so much of the top portion of the screen, you really can't see very much at a time down here. But hopefully you guys don't mind. IonQ, closing out everything for this week and actually closing out some of the things for next week because it had a pretty rough day. They did a lot. Selling the next week. All right, so the 1788s, go with those 1788s, these 3345s. Yeah, so we closed this week's and some of next week's and rolled down for next week, making almost $1 million, $980,000 profit on that. All these buys and sells are just of the puts. So we actually made some money on those puts too. Sold some of the puts for 45 and 69 cents and then reopened them at lower prices for 24 to 23. MicroStrategy was a loss for us, so we closed those out and rolled them to next week. Had to roll up a lot, right? Went from 415 to 445, $30 increase on the strike. Cost us $654,000. Hopefully we're at least positioned to win next week's. Oklo's rolled to next week, resulted in a $373,000 profit. Palantir's was kind of a just barely, made $100,000, 106 overall. Rigetti closing out and rolling the next week, making $562,000. We had a whole lot of positions that we had to roll. And it looks like we even closed out something that was already sold for next week and rolled it down $1 to make a 10-cent per share profit. But 100 shares per contract, 18,000 contract, it still ended up being almost $200,000 difference on that 10 cents. RH, this one's one of our debit call spreads. So we made 100,000 closing that out and rolling to next week. We already did the large portion of it yesterday. There was only 97 contracts that they had left. So we made our bigger win yesterday on that bet, and then a little bit more today, 108,000. SMCI, close and roll to next week. Obviously a win, paying 6 cents to close out, opening for 74, 269,000. New scale, SMR, closing this week for 3 cents, another win, opening next week for 67, 325,000 profit. Tempest AI, closing for 2 cents, we love it. Closing for 19 cents, still not bad. Opening for in the 80s, 448,000 profit. Upstart, paying 32 to close, selling for $1 and change, $140,000 profit. And Vistra Corp, this is all the way at the bottom. This is that last debit call spread. So it's not selling covered calls. It's buying a call in the money and selling another one further out of the money. So that was our big winner today. So like we said, all week we kept on talking about these. There's a handful of them that are different from our normal strategy, where they were doing debit call spreads. And so we saw lots of days where it looked like we were losing the day, 300,000, 400,000, but it resulted at the end of the week in a $3 million win. So that helped. All right, when we take a look, again, obviously it's Friday, it's payday. You got 9.6 cents per share. I've had some people reaching out telling me how many shares they have. I'm impressed. I wouldn't say jealous, but you're in a good position. I'm not jealous of other people's success. I'm happy for you. But yeah, seeing people getting $2,500, $3,000, $4,000 a week off of ULTY, you gotta love it. I mean, that's basically a yearly salary. All right, so all in all, best trading day we've seen in a while, $7 million profit. For the week, it's still going to be a loss, so we're going to get paid based off of the IV. I'll go into that on the week look ahead and the distribution guesstimate video. As you can see, this is what it takes to have a big winning trading day is going to be because the stocks dropped and allowed you to make the win. So 11 million decrease in value, not a loss on the underlyings themselves. Had some requests about the IVs, right? Because they do play a big part. We're going to get paid based on the IVs, not on the income again this week. But I don't update these daily because that's not a formula. I have to look up each and every one of them individually, one at a time. It takes a lot of time when you got 30-ish, almost 30 stocks within a fund. So I do it right before I make the estimate. So it's the most recent, and it's the one closest to when they're making their decisions. But just running through, Applied Optoelectronics is our highest, 124%. ASTS 89%. That's a pretty high one. 80% from Robinhood. 83 from Ion Q. 76 from our LabU. 69 from Mara. 94 Oklo, just kind of flying under the radar. They're a big one. That plays a big part. 6% being a 94%er. Almost 6% from Reddit. 86, that helps for Getty. 85. 94 from NewScale, and I think we said we won those trades. So we got some decent ones in there. That was I don't want to mess up the name. I got an email from a guy today. I was emailing back and forth. I don't want to say the wrong name. So, but okay, like I said, I didn't put the orange because basically everything for July 11th got rolled, even some of the 18th. But we don't care about stuff expiring next week. It's the end of this week. We just want to know how we did so we can go enjoy our weekend. So really just kind of going to go through quick and see which ones had the biggest impact as far as our value changes, right? AppLovin dropping over 3%, took 1.7 million off the value. ASTS got it back for us, 3.6% up, bringing it up 2 million. What else? This one hurt a lot. IonQ dropping almost 9%. That's a $5.3 million decrease in value. Funny one on this one. When they were right around 43, you'll hear this story tomorrow in my personal trading review for the week. I sold a 41 put, and then I guess I jinxed the stock, and it went chasing after it. So I could have got almost double what I sold it for, being impatient. LabU dropping 4.5%, took the value down by 1.1 million. MicroStrategy up by 3%. So where were they yesterday? So those would have only cost $6 to close out those 415s, but instead I think we saw them costing like 20. But that was a $1.6 million increase in value. What other big ones do we have? Reddit up 1.8%. Increased the value by over $1 million. Rigetti's 6.5% loss took $3 million off the value. SMCI down 2.2%, took $1.1 million off. NewScale SMR up 4%, added $1.8 million to the value. Tempest AI dropped 4.5%, took $2 million plus off the value, and Upstart 4.3% down. These guys were real high recently. $3 million decrease in value. So all in all, totals to an $11 million decrease in value. But crazy, right? Yesterday was our first day over $1 billion, and then the next day we were at $1,221 million. To put that in perspective, I've been making videos for just over 2 months now, and my first videos, the value was $221 million, and then between yesterday and today, the value of the fund increased by $221 million. That's nuts. It jumped 22%. So people, obviously, here's the reason why: 28 million new outstanding shares from yesterday into today. Right? They collected it yesterday, put it out in the holdings today. So we're NAV's holding strong, and this fund's taking off like crazy. I don't know what it's from, but hey, maybe if it's from me, they could cut me in on a little bit, because what are they getting? 1.3% management expense. Well, they've gone up 6 times in the last 2 months, 6 times where they were. So I think they owe me a cut. I'll take 0.01%. All right, so that's it for ULTY. Right, again, very short video. If you're new here, I color code these. I talk about how far in or out of the money we are, how close we are, how much time is left, all that kind of stuff. But today, I just need to get to bed. But I didn't want to leave you guys hanging without delivering the information. LFGY, as you know, if you follow these videos, they trade crazy, 8 at a time, 4 at a time. So the only thing I'm highlighting are full rolls, okay? So CleanSpark rolled from this week to next week, $252,000 loss on that trade, right? They had to pay 64 cents to close them out, and they're only collecting 36 and 19 to open the new ones. We'll go down. Hut 8 Corp, they did well, right? Paying 3 cents to close out per share, 3,800 contracts, collecting 69 cents on the other end, 67, so $152,000 profit. And again, right, so you just got to keep things in perspective. $152,000 profit on a $160 million fund is a whole lot different than $152,000 profit on a $1.2 billion fund. So that's a nice win. And again, that's a painful loss. Mara Holdings losing those trades, $443,000 loss. And these were actually the ones that were already out till next week. So when we're paying to close these out, we're paying a week's worth of time value as well. So they're just trying to set us up to not go into the week losing these. So MicroStrategy lost $715,000. Like we said, they had a big increase today, and they were holding off, hoping to let these decay away, and instead they jumped on the last day. So $715,000 loss. And finally, Riot was a win, paying 4 cents to close out those trades and collecting 34 to 39. Resulted in $123,000. Now LFGY doesn't do the same strategy, so they're not buying puts to go with each one, but a good portion of the time they are buying a further out of the money call. So they create a credit call spread, and it costs a little bit more than just selling a covered call, but then it protects you if the stock runs up past your sold call to where you're not unlimited on how much you're going to have to pay to close it out. Now, if you were personally trading, you could just let the shares go, but in these funds, they don't let the shares go. They always pay to close them out. Reminder, well, I don't have to remind you that you got paid today. You got 48.17 cents per share deposited today. Did you buy more? I'm having a hard time buying anything other than ULTY, to be honest. I just love the way they're set up. It seems like they are ready for up, down, or sideways trading. But all these trades for LFGY resulted in a $1.1 million loss. So again, it's going to be another losing week as far as trades are concerned. So we're going to get paid based on the IV, and even that's going to be, we'll see. I don't think they're going to give us anything extra. Really, last week they didn't. Based on the IV, it should have been 49. It was 48, but we're not crying over a penny. I'm not. Maybe you are. BitDeer, or I'm sorry, not BitDeer. LFGY, just a quick look at these IVs. We still got BitDeer over 100, Core Scientific at 94, Circle at 93. A couple weeks ago, that was like a 200. Galaxy Digital over 100. Robinhood 80. Hut 8 Corp 91. Now these guys, they don't look for necessarily the Riot's 74 almost. These guys aren't looking for the highest IV. These are specifically crypto related stocks where ULTY is looking for the high IV. All right, so finally we'll just close out by looking at how things impacted the values, and we'll just really highlight the let's see if there's anything real big. Seems like 400,000 to 500,000 are the highs. So $400,000 decrease after, let's see, Core Scientific dropped 5%. $400,000 decrease after Circle Internet dropped over 7%. iBit did well today, 4.2% increase, 625,000, or Rod would say 420, your favorite number, or 7-Eleven, your favorite convenience store. That's today. Now, we don't care about the percentage changes on MBTX because we don't own any shares, so it's not increasing or decreasing our value, but this trade went against them pretty bad with their next week sold call at 260, and it's already at almost 280. And their long range put spread, where they're betting it drops below 230 as it runs up. Let's see, MicroStrategy up over $500,000 on today's 3% increase. Opera down $400,000 on the 6% decrease. And that's the last of the big changes. So there was no additional outstanding shares from yesterday into today. So it's a $166 million fund. It's just not taking off the way ULTY has. But that's okay. There's lots of people that like it. See, I personally, I don't own any crypto. I don't try to buy Bitcoin or anything. But I can see that, there's a desire to have some sort of play in there. So LFGY is right for me, for my risk appetite as far as crypto. So if you want some sort of crypto exposure, but you don't want to pick a coin or something, this might be the one for you. But all right, that is it for the update. I've got a dad joke of the day. Not going to cut that out. I started to tell. This is from the calendar my kids got me. I started to read it to them, and then I went, never mind. I'm not going to read it to you. It's not that bad, but still. So before I do, thank you for everything. I'm sorry. I had a request from somebody yesterday. Hey, at the end, can you just do one last 30-second review? So 30-second review. ULTY, trading wise, made $7.2 million profit, and share value decreased by 11.3 million, and stock price stayed pretty much where it's been. And then LFGY, like we just talked about, was a roughly 1 million and 1 million? Yep. Lost 1.1 million in trading and decreased in value by $1 million. And again, stock price stayed relatively, it dropped for the day, but it's staying right where we've been. So we're not upset about that. Okay, thanks for everything. I appreciate you guys. I'm sorry for getting it out so late. Obviously, it's not my normal. But dad joke of the day. The furniture store keeps calling me. Jeez, all I wanted was one night stand. All right, have a good night. Watch for, if you are into the 0 DTE Roundhill funds, I'm going to get that video out. That's just a quick 10-minute video. And then Saturday, I put out the full week review and look ahead for the 7 individual income funds that I cover, the monthly payers. And I will also put out the video covering all of my trades from this past week. And then Sunday will be the week look ahead and payment guesstimate for ULTY and LFGY. All right, have a great weekend and good night.